The video today will be on exercise 5A, question 3, textbook page 157. I'll be using that question as an example on how you should be drawing a graph. Okay, so please refer to page 157. Alright, exercise 5A, question 3. So in the question, we're actually looking at a reciprocal graph, which is something that we have not drawn before, and we are given a set of values which we need to complete. So again, the first thing we can do is to fill in and complete the table in the question. So I'm going to do this here. This is a very good practice for you to note down the values. So over here we have a quarter, 16. So we have a couple unknown values, which is for half, 1, 3, and 5. So for those of you who are not familiar, right, the equation in this question is y equals to 4 over x. So what you're going to do is to substitute in the value of x, which in this case, for the first example, is half. So we have y equals to 4 divided by half, which when you use your calculator, you will get 8. And we do the rest as such. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is part B. So in B, they give us a scale, right? 2 cm to represent 1 unit on the x-axis and 1 cm to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. Alright, so let's look at how we draw our scale. Okay, we have a value of 16 to 4/5 for our y and 1/4 to 5 on our x value. So to draw 2 cm, please remember that the big square that you see here is 2 cm wide, so we can use that as our reference. So since the graph is mostly all positive, we can just draw the axis as like that. Okay, we'll have 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically, this would fulfill the 2 cm representing 1 unit on the x-axis. Right, and on our y-axis, 1 cm represents 1 unit. So since the big square is 2 cm, you'll see that this will be 1 cm, and we can draw a line straight down this way. Okay, and then we can label. Always write the numbers up to the largest value. In this case it's 16, so we have to keep drawing and writing until we reach 16. Okay, so that we know where to plot our points. So with this, we're done with our axes. The next thing we do is to plot our values. Okay, so let's start with the simpler ones. Okay, we go with the nice whole numbers. So we have 1 and 4. So we look at the x value, we see 1. We go up to where y equals to 4. Okay, then we look at 2 and 2. We have 4 and 1 as well. So these are the simpler ones. Now the problem is, the trick here now is we have to draw those with fractions. So to see where 0.25 is for x, or 1/4, we have to break down our x's. So between 0 to 1, there are 10 squares, which means that 0.25 is about 2.5 squares, so which is about here. Then we go up to 16. You see there's a point here, we mark it down. Okay, same thing for half. Half is easier, it's right on the middle of between 0 and 1. So we look for 8, plot it again. Alright, then we do the same for everything else. So 3 will be a slightly trickier one because it's 4 over 3, which is 1 1/3 or 1.3. Okay, so again, we just do an estimate, an approximation. Okay, so 1.3, this is between 1 to 2, there are 5 squares, which means that every square increase is 0.2. So this will be 1.2, this will be 1.4, so we put a point around in the middle since it's 1.333. Okay, and finally we have 5 and 4/5. So this one is easier, we have a point here. Okay, at this point, remember, when we are doing plotting, I'm not asking for super accurate plots. An estimation will do, especially for fractions such as 1/3, 2/3, right, or 1/9, because these decimals, they are recurring, they don't end. Okay, so after we're done with this, we can go ahead and draw our curve, and with that we need to use a curve ruler. Okay, so again, try your best to match. Place the ruler on all the points that you see. Again, it comes with practice. You should have done quite a bit in term 2 for chapter 2. Okay, but now we have a different equation. Okay, I'll be flipping the page around just to make it easier for me. Okay, a good way is first to just connect a couple of coordinates first before you go on and complete the rest. Okay, then over here, you do the rest. Okay, and then we have our completed graph over here. Okay, make sure that the graph should be only within the maximum and the minimum points, right, between 16 and 4/5. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, this is of course not complete. We still need to write the equation of our graph. So with a completed graph like this, remember we have our axes, our plots, and finally our smooth curve. Okay, so now we move on to question C, which is finding the value of the corresponding coordinate given the other. So we have two questions here. and we need to find the value of x, sorry, the value of y when x is equals to 3.6 and the value of x when y is 4.5. So we can actually use our graph here. Now when x is equal to 3.6, we can use our ruler, okay, use our axis. You see that x equals 3.6 is here, okay, because every unit increase is a 0.1 increase. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 4, 5, and finally 6. We draw a dotted line upwards. Okay, it's around here. Then we will draw a dotted line to our y-axis. Okay, so we see that it's about between 1 and 1.2. So we can estimate at y to be about 1.1 or so. Okay, again, as I said, this is an estimate. Okay, you just need to give me a rough value. Okay, that's why graphs can be inaccurate at times, but this is also a test on whether you understand what coordinates are. So now we look at the value of x when y equals to 4.5, which we will look at the y-axis. Okay, again 4.5 is not found on any of the squares because every increase is 0.2, so it's 4.2, 4.4. So 4.5 will be between 4.4 and 4.6. It's the midpoint, it's in between. So again, draw a dotted line over, and then we draw a dotted line down. Which looks like it's about 0.9. And there we have our answer. Remind all of you, first have your values in place. Then using the scale given, I want you to draw the axis as such. Alright. Then you plot your points following your answers here. Okay. Then using your rough memory or rough idea of how the graph should look like, okay, you recognize that this is a reciprocal graph. You know that there is a curve this way that doesn't touch the two axes. You will connect the plots to give you a nice curve like this. Okay, and don't forget to write the equation of the graph. To find the corresponding values, you'll need to draw dotted lines as such. Okay, question here is, can I just put in my calculator to find the other value? No, because the question says using your graph.